All right, we're live. Good morning, everybody. We're just talking about the Georgia weather. And if you live in Georgia, you know our pain. Sure, I was especially excited about spring. I don't know why. Because I usually do more in winter a little bit. I like it. So
I love spring.
today,
Spring is my favorite season.
I think fall is mine. Because fall is just fall and football and being outside with family and friends. And so it's full of such good memories. So anyway, today we're getting back to like just basics. This is just like a basic conversation today,
Hmm.
um, which I have forgotten a title to in that fast of a second.
Afraid to try sex therapy? Here's what
Yep.
actually happens. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I just had it, I just read it, and then it just flew out my mind as I got ready to open the door. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And just kind of keep it simple because I know, and I hate that I do this, but I think I forget sometimes that sex therapy is a novelty to people and
Hmm.
that they don't know what it is.
Hmm.
And and I hate that I forget it because if I had not like taken a human sexuality class from
Hmm.
a sex therapist, I would have no idea sex therapy existed.
Hmm.
And so like had I known and started when I had good insurance from corporate America, my life would be in a completely different place.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. So that's what our conversation is today. Good morning, Amanda. Welcome to the
Thank
conversation.
you. Hi, y'all. How's it going?
Good.
It's going good. So we're just talking about spring and we're jumping into it right
Huh.
now. And so today's topic is like what actually happens in the sex therapy session. All right.
I like it.
So first of all, I'd like to say sex therapy is talk therapy. Like sex does not happen in sex therapy. That's something completely different. It is just talk therapy. There's not that much of a difference between a sex therapist and a regular therapist. Like we all went to like regular counseling grad school.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to get a regular counseling license. I'm a
Hmm.
licensed marriage and family therapist. Jessica, you're a licensed professional counselor.
Hmm.
Amanda is on her way to becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist. So we all have like a base understanding of counseling, like general counseling practices. And then we read a couple of extra books and maybe take an extra couple of classes regarding human sexuality
Yeah.
and just how it works and how it functions. Because we do that little bit of extra, I personally, this is my own private opinion, is that sex therapists are like the SWAT of therapy.
I
We
like
come
that.
in and we rescue when the regular therapists are having a hard time. And it's not so much that we have like this whole myriad of information. I think what it is I think what it is like, oh my God, my mom is like cringing right now. I think what it is that I can think of another word, that our training has us practice sitting with very hard, uncomfortable topics.
Yes.
And I think that's where our superpower is. And so we're able to sit with a client and for them to tell us their most private pains, um, their most private desires that they maybe think are taboo and they can't say out loud to anybody else, and to sit with them. And so I know you have probably all heard clients sit in the room with us virtually or physically and say, I've never said this to anybody. I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
said this out loud. I remember one of my first clients was just horrified to talk about a foot fetish. And it was just
Mhm.
like, that's pretty mainstream. Like, to be able to normalize it, but to create that safe space.
Yeah.
And so I think first and foremost is talk therapy. That's a safe space. We really, I think, where sex therapists shine can really sit in a place of non judgment. Yeah. Okay. What do you guys think? First and kind of foremost, sex therapy is what? What do you think?
Well, I think it's important to talk about like not only the education for basic therapists, so like In a graduate program, like I needed 750 clinical hours for graduation, and then an additional 2,000 hours to apply for my license. And then I'm working on an additional 1,000 hours under supervision to help with credentialing and being able to practice in other states if that's something that I want to do. And then I just pulled up the ASECT certification. So ASECT is the American Association of Sexual Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. And that requires 90 hours of human sexuality education core, 60 hours of sex therapy training. So specifically how to be a sex therapist with clients. There's an attitudes and values training experience. So being exposed to a lot of different sexual topics, and that's at least 14 hours. And then they also require 300 hours of clinical experience, field work, professional training experience, and 50 hours of supervision. So like it is not a little undertaking. Like it is, there's a lot there. And understanding that like ASECT certifies sex therapists, but there is not necessarily a governing board in the United States of what qualifies a sex therapist. So a lot of people could just say that they're a sex therapist without having the ASECT certification. I know Florida requires human sexuality in their training. As far as I know, I think it's the only state that does, which is kind of wild that it's Florida, but yeah.
Thank you. I love that. All right, Amanda, what would you like to add to the conversation of just the basics of what you should know?
Yeah. So Natalie, you often say that like the universe brings us the clients we're meant to have, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought of that because as you were talking, and Jessica, as you're talking about like what makes a sex therapist, many of us also have specializations within sex therapy. So like I see a lot of folks who are dealing with trauma, attachment disruption, who are, I do a lot of spiritual counseling because I'm a former pastoral counselor. When I get like kink and neurodivergent clients, I often send them to Jessica because she's a lot more specialized in that than I am. So I want people to know that there's the right sex therapist out there for you also. We wear many hats, so we see all different kinds of clients, all three of us and everybody at our practice. But also if you're trying to dip your toe into the kink community and you're not sure where to start, there are sex therapists for that. If you have experienced sexual trauma or other trauma that's affecting your marriage or your intimate life, there's specialists for that within the sex therapy community. So if you get to somebody and you do an intake or a consultation and it doesn't feel quite right, ask them for their recommendations. Most therapists are willing to help you find the right person for you. So don't meet somebody, feel like it's a wrong fit, and then give up. Like there's a lot of different ways to go about it.
Definitely so. Which is one of the reasons we do these videos every day, every week, because I want people to be able to have experience of you guys before they come in. Like we want to lower any barriers that we can to make it easier to come in. I'd love it, and I'd absolutely feel so accomplished in life if you guys, clients, were able to say or feel like they know you a little bit already. Like if they're able to say, yeah, Jessica, I remember you saying, and you're like, this is our first session. What do you mean? And they're like, oh, I saw your video. Like I love that they would feel like they get to know you a little bit more. All right. I want to pivot a little bit to who comes in for sex therapy. And it's a list of people that we're going to go through, but I don't remember if this was on the list, but I want to give permission to any person over 60 who needs to come into sex therapy. I know it's going to feel taboo for you, but your body is changing, your mobility is changing. You may have relationships that are changing.
Yeah.
And you probably, it would behoove a lot of you guys to get some support around that, know? And what does that look like? A lot of I'm going to say men over 60 struggle with, and I'm going to say this like I say it to them, because it makes them laugh when I do. So I like saying it this way. So I'll say an 80-year-old dick doesn't do what a 20-year-old dick does, and it changes somewhere in the middle. You're in the middle. It's changing. And
Yeah.
so I think some of my guys in general are like, but I never thought it would change. Like I never thought about that part of my body changing. And
Yeah,
it's just like,
it does.
but you also know you can't play basketball with 20-year-olds anymore. Because you broke your foot last time you tried that. So all parts of bodies are changing, and how to adjust to that, like how to adjust to that. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that I really want to give that population, um, because I've had so many couples actually in the practice who are just like, we just never thought we'd encounter this, or you know, uh, hip replacements.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend in her 40s who was on a colostomy bag for a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I just want, like, these are issues that we can help you think through. But biggest thing is we can give you a space to say, hey, this isn't fair, and help you just process the emotions so that you can move on to figure out what can be done. So what can happen with a lot of people, me included, is we get so stuck on what we can't do anymore.
Yeah.
It takes a third person, another person outside of us, to say, hey, let's pivot to talk about what you can do. Like this, now you have a whole myriad of things you can do. And so just to lift your head up. So, okay. All right. What are some other things that you guys see couples coming in with? Is there any couple out there or individual out there that they're struggling and you want them to come in? Like I see, I just know you're in pain and come in. All right. What do you
Yeah.
guys think? Jump in.
Yeah, it makes me think of a client that I met with last night, and he was saying, just like, I know you're probably going to say that I'm normal, but I need somebody to tell me what's going on because I feel crazy or I feel abnormal. And I think that is the biggest overarching theme, is feeling abnormal. But we get to tell you that you are normal because everybody worries about this. Everybody thinks about these things. This is a common thing. You are not necessarily an outlier. And as much as we love to say that people are unicorns, people are very rarely actually unicorns. There are other people
That's true.
that have the same fetish, have the same inclination, want to do the same things. You are most likely not the only person in the world who wants to do that particular thing.
Right. That's so funny. I'll have days sometimes where, like, all of my couples are dealing with the exact same issue. It's so interesting. It's just like, yeah, I should actually just record myself. This is the exact same issue. So, all right, Amanda, what do you think?
Something that just came up for me is that we see both individuals and couples as sex therapists. Even I see individuals who are partnered, who want to come in and work on a specific issue, like with them, that may relate to sex with their partner, but also may just be like a sex issue that they're dealing with internally. And sometimes, I'll occasionally have with those individual people, like a partner come in to support, for a session here or there. But I just want people to know that sex therapy is exactly like what you want it to be, as far as the configuration, how often you meet. Like, I don't want people to think, oh, I'm going to have to drag my partner and they never are going to come to therapy. Or I have this I have these thoughts that I think are abnormal, but I don't want to talk with them about it yet. Come in and see us. Like, we see individuals and couples. We see polycules, not just couples too. We see all different types of families and intimate relations. So yeah, like that keeps coming up for me lately with clients. So I feel like that's part of the universe too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't be intimidated that you have to drag your partner in with you if you want to get started. Or if you just want to be seen alone. We do both.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so powerful. So powerful. Okay. All right. I'm just going to go down the list of things, and we have a comprehensive list on our website. So I'm just going to say, go to Atlanta Sex Therapy, because it's a list. It's got to be 40 things on that list. It's huge, of things that we'll work with. Because I just wanted to put it out there in case somebody was wondering, like, is my thing something they'll work with? But the basic things we'll work with is mismatched sexual desire, lack of intimacy, painful sex, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, difficulty reaching orgasm, sexual trauma recovery, affairs and betrayal, pornography concerns, whatever the concerns are, shame around sex, which I think is a huge one that we all love working with, communication struggles around sex and intimacy and all of that. And then just helping you, like so many people just want to know, am I normal? Like, am I normal? And we definitely will help you figure that out. We'll help you figure that out. Okay. What, for each of you guys, does a first session look like?
I think for me, I try and set the expectations of what this looks like. I always ask about cursing because I will curse. And so I'm just like, if this is horribly offensive to you, please let me know. I will do my best. But like, I also feel that there's a certain amount of convention breaking. Like, so I have a visible tattoo. I had a client tell me that they picked me when they started working with me. I think we started working 2 or 3 years ago, because I had vibrant colored hair. I think I had blue hair at the time, and they're like, you're not going to judge me because you have blue hair. And I'm like, I love this. This is exactly like, it's almost making me think of like, oh, I need to dye my hair wild colors again. And so it's kind of setting that expectation. And then it's kind of just digging in, like, what's going on? What is causing distress? How long has this been going on? When did you notice it? When did it start causing problems? What have you tried? What hasn't worked? Kind of getting a lay of the land and understanding what that looks like for them.
Definitely. So, Amanda, for you, what does a first session look like?
First session for sex therapy looks a lot like a regular therapy, like a non-sex therapy session for me. I get a lot of background information. I ask a lot of questions. I talk more in that session than I try to talk in any other session. But something that I try to make really clear to my clients, and I try during the intake to like have this touch point 4 or 5 times. We recognize and appreciate the vulnerability that comes with sex therapy, and any question or topic I cover in my standard intake, you are allowed to say no. I don't want to talk about that yet. This is too personal. This makes me uncomfortable, because there are going to be intimate questions in a sex therapy intake. And I let everybody know that, because we know sex is vulnerable. We know sex can mean many things. Sex can be stress relief, a love and bonding thing. It can be exercise. Like, we know sex is so many different things that I think that even more than other therapists, we do our best to really safeguard that vulnerability and the client's agency within the session. So I tell people all the time, if you don't want to answer, we'll do it. Tell me when you're ready, and we'll come back to it. So that's, I think, the main way that I feel like I show up as a sex therapist in the intake differently from my other intake interviews.
Yeah. I think for me, for the first session, I just want your story.
Yeah.
I want your story. I want to hear it from your words. So I'll usually read the intake paperwork, but I want to hear your words. Like, the intake paperwork isn't going to tell me that you teared up. And so I want to hear your story. And that's, for me, the most important thing in the first session is making sure I hear your story. I typically do more of the history taking in the second session. And usually my clients on the first session will be like, I'm all over the place. It's okay. Like, it's okay. It's all, as one of my mentors would say, grist for the meal, or like fodder for the whatever. And so that's always good. And one of the things that I will say I'm also looking for in the first session is the things that you've already been doing well.
I like that.
For couples, I'm looking for the goodwill in the relationship that we can like build on. So I'm looking for those positives so that we're taking a strengths-based approach and building on what's already working. And so if I have a couple who's already been together 20 years, Like you guys have some things that are working and working well for you. You're already beating the odds. So I want to build on that. If I have an individual who's had success in any other part of their life, who's already
Yeah.
growth, then the same skills that got you growth in that area, I think we can apply to this area. And so I the way I feel and present right now with you on video is the same way I present in therapy session. And so my hope is that if anybody's watching this video, when you have each of us on video with you in session, that it feels the same way. Like that's what we want it to feel like. So, okay. What happens after the first session? What do you guys think? For you?
I know that I tend to provide a lot of options for resources because I know I like to have options, and like something may not feel like, oh, I don't know that I want to try that. But then like if I'm presented with different options, I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. I want to do that first. And I talked with one of my clients yesterday, and we meet like every 2 weeks, and she was like, oh, I feel like this, like I really like the options because if I try something and it doesn't quite work or it doesn't feel right, I have other things to go back and try before we meet again, so that I've like, okay, well, I tried this and this is how I felt, or I tried this and this is how I felt. And so like we can kind of talk about that. I also want to make sure that my clients feel autonomy. Like I had one of my clients, he is in the military, and he's like, tell me what I need to do. And I'm like, ooh, no, this is not what we do. Like I want you to set the cadence. I want you to tell me, how does this feel? How do you need more accountability? Do you want to touch base more often? What feels useful? What feels helpful? And then we can go from there. It's a collaborative process, not I'm going to tell you, you do these things, and if you don't do these things, I'm not seeing you anymore. Like it's, you can't fail therapy. And so that's a big thing that I talk about with my clients of like, if you don't do any of the things that I've said, that's fine. Come back and we'll talk about why. Like,
Good. I want to jump in right there. I think there's a huge part of sex therapy where we're discussing something in session, and then you're going back into your life and trying it out, executing it. And that's usually what the homework is. And it could be as simple as spend 5 minutes together. Just spend 5 minutes together. Just can we do that? For my very busy couples, like I need consistent that. And then eventually it would maybe, can you spend that 5 minutes together naked? Like that may be it. And so, but there definitely is this component of us discussing things, and then you're going home and trying them. Like, so I will say sex therapy is definitely a therapy where you have to have outside homework and activities, because we can talk about it in session, we can process it in session, and then you got to go practice. And so some of my clients, one of my clients actually 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I'd like for you to think of this as reading the driver's manual and driving. Like, I need you to get into bed and actually drive. Like, you can't learn to drive. The book can tell you a lot. The car manual can tell you a lot. And you still got to actually get in the car and drive. And so I think sex therapy for some people will feel like that. Like, we're having a great discussion, we're processing things, we're learning things, you're getting new terminology, you're getting more comfortable with things, and you got to go home and drive. Okay, Amanda, jump in.
I like what both of you are saying about like the time in between sessions. I tend, at the end of the first session, I will often ask my sex therapy clients like what your learning style is. Do you like to read? Do you like to watch videos? Do you like to journal? Like, because like you were saying, Natalie, like a lot of this is experiential learning. So if you haven't picked up a book since 9th grade and you prefer to get your stuff through videos, then I'm going to find videos for you. If you're a journaler, or if you tell me I work 50 hours a week and homework in the traditional sense is not going to work for me, I'll find a way to try to make it work for you. And also to what you're saying, Jessica, I've had couples and individuals come in and be like, we didn't get to the homework. We're so sorry. You have a life. Like, all of this is in service to what you want your growth to be. So if you had to take this week off because life is happening, okay, like you are never going to get judgment from me. Specifically after the first session with my clients, I don't give homework usually. I usually tell them, like, we've opened a Pandora's box of sorts of feelings and things you talked about that you may not have touched on for a long time. I usually give people a nervous system warning. Like, you may feel out of it. You may feel kind of cranky. Things might be coming up in dreams or in, those times when your mind is quiet but activated. So just notice the feelings that come up. And I always share my contact information twice at the end. Reach out if you're having a hard time with everything if anything is hard that's coming up. And then usually second or third session is when I really start adding in more assignments or homework, once we've gotten to know each other a little better.
I think what you just said, that what both of you guys have said, like you can't fail therapy. You can't. Yeah. And so they're definitely, a lot of my clients, it's like we are trying to build a plane as it is taking off, as it is flying already in the air, or rebuild it or something. And so definitely there's and because I think what I want from my clients is like, your life isn't going to stop. We can't. And so therapy hopefully adds a little bit of support while you're trying to make some changes for the better in it. But yeah, we completely understand those weeks that are it just didn't get done. It just didn't get done. And so I definitely want you guys to know this is a therapy modality that can flex with you. Because sometimes it just is what it is. Like, it's just like the car broke down and the kid got sick and the mom broke her hip. Like, it just is. So yeah.
I just wanted to have that point on there. Like, that's the biggest thing that I talk about my not only my clients, but my kid as well. Like, therapist is first. So if we need to talk about grief, if we need to talk about anxiety, if we need to talk about depression, that's important to your sex life too. And it doesn't always take a front seat. So we have to understand that priorities shift, things change. If your car broke down, let's talk about your finances. I worked with a couple all about relocating to another state because it was better for their kid who is transgender. So it's what do you need from me? How can I help you in this time? Period. The end.
Yeah. Okay. I'm bringing this down. We got 3 minutes left, but the theme for my couples this week has been food. Navigating how to get food for the family done in a way which is less stressful. And it is just so interesting how food has been like the thing for the week. It's just a thing, but it's a huge part of a family's evening program, right? And so if we can't figure how to get food taken care of, then we can't figure out how to get the kids taken care of, and we can't figure out how to make it to the bedroom before we're both exhausted to spend time together. And so I so love somehow how sex therapy is not about sex at all. Like, just not about sex. Just not. And so anyway, all right, last thoughts. What do you guys want people to know coming in to see you specifically?
Yeah. I'm going to speak to a fear that a new client this week expressed to me, was that I was going to try to force her to have sex with her husband before she was ready. And because she's like, well, that's your job, right? Is making people have sex. And I said, absolutely not. I said, if you never want to have sex with your spouse again, you've got my full support. I'm here to help you and you and your spouse get to places that are safe for both of you. And so we are not going to force you to have sex. We're not going to push you beyond your limits. We're not going to make you re-traumatize yourself. We're here to support you and your relationship, or whatever you need help in. Like, we're here to support you, and you call the shots as the client. You set the limits, you call the shots. And that's the same in non-sex therapy too. So don't be afraid that we're going to push you too far. Like we really we try the hardest not to do that. That's what we try the hardest on.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, because that is an important piece that it almost makes me want to change it to like physical intimacy therapy, or another word that's less loaded than sex, because that has been the conversation with many clients, male and female. Like, you know, and I've said with people like, I'm sex positive, but I'm not trying to I am not trying to get anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. Like that's not the human being I want to be in the world. And so we bring that into session. So excellent point. All right, Jessica Renard.
Yeah, I think the thing that's coming up for me is kind of the opposite to a certain extent is I have some clients that I have to slow down, that like it is not going to immediately be fixed. You cannot put all of your time and energy towards this. There is not a magic wand you can wave that changes 5 years of how you guys have interacted or severe trauma to just poof, it's gone. And so like we have to give ourselves patience. We have to give ourselves grace, and understanding that like rushing this will cause more detriment than taking the time.
Yeah, definitely so. Definitely so. It is 10 o'clock, so I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to wish you guys have a happy, happy day. And all of our possible potential clients out there, please know that we want to be a safe place for you.
Yep.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.